Mysta-Clan Productions.
This is a video scripted and produced by Mysta and his editors. Plug of the day. Go check out my Patreon. It will really help the channel grow and sustain itself. Also, Patreon members do get shoutouts at the end of every video, so if you are a Patreon member, make sure to stay to the end to see yourself shouted out. Also, join my Discord, Twitter, Instagram, and TikTok. Also, thanks to the Dragon Lord, we can roll that intro. What is up, residents of the Mysta-Clan? This is your boy, Mysta-Man, coming at y'all with a brand new video. So, today, we're going to be doing what if Naruto was a Fox Sage, or had a Fox Sage mode, depending on how you're looking at it. So, this is going to be part 1. Make sure to click the like and subscribe, comment down below. Now, let's get into this video. We go back in time to 4-year-old Naruto. He had just been bullied a lot more. Even though when he was in the orphanage he was bullied a lot, but recently got kicked out. He thought of going to go tell the 3rd Hokage, but he thought he should maybe deal with it himself because Gigi can't do everything for him, and when he is a ninja he needs to be independent. So now we move on to Naruto thinking what to do. He thinks why people hate him. Obviously, this is because Danzo revealed him to be the Nine-Tails, but whatever. He moves to a forage in the Leaf Village, not too far away from the main gates, or side gates, doesn't really matter, just in a large forest area. In this forested area, Naruto saw some shinobi. They were doing basic training. These were genin. They were doing chakra exercises. He would see this and try to copy what they were doing, which was currently tree walking. After of him just sitting there trying to burst his chakra as much as possible, he gets a hang of having chakra in general. He'd then also move on to actually trying the tree walking. He doesn't actually get it, but after a few hours of him expending a lot of chakra, he'd just say, well, it's time to go find somewhere to sleep. Can't be doing this all night. We could try again tomorrow. He'd find a little or a gigantic tree with gigantic roots that make kind of a cover. He would go lay down, and after a while he'd see a little white fox, and he'd start playing with it. And this fox seemed special to him, but he couldn't put his finger on it. So the fox, after playing with him for a while, falls asleep on his chest, or that's what he believes. Also, sitting there, he finally spills his mind. Wish I could become a great shinobi. Maybe people would respect me. Maybe people won't hate me if I just became Hokage. This catches the fox's attention as you see its ears wiggle. Well, is that so? The fox would say. Naruto, getting a fright, would jump up and the fox would just gracefully land. You didn't have to throw me like that. Naruto would go, you're a talking fox? How's that even possible? The fox would explain that it's not just a normal fox, it's a summoning fox. I am a summoning fox, as you can see. I just came out here to relax and saw you. But you said you want to become a great shinobi. You know what? Show me what you got, kid. Naruto would ask the fox what it meant, show me what you got, and the fox would explain. Show me how great of a shinobi you are. Try and catch me. The fox would then bolt around trees, jumping to them like a missile in bullet-like speeds, barely able to see it because of how fast it is. Naruto would say, how am I supposed to catch you if you're that darn fast? Don't worry, just catch me, the voice echoes from all directions. Naruto would say, bet, I'll catch you. And start using the method he learned from the trees, where if you put too much chakra in your feet, it makes like an explosion and you get a temporary burst of speed. He'd continuously use this, and the fox had actually been watching him doing his training and thought of how stupid he was, but now sees that this kid is actually pretty smart. he used a concept that was incorrect from a previous thing to make something new, which is currently a giant burst of speed, which just as well might be a good technique for the future. Naruto wouldn't catch the fox and would eventually just lay on the ground exhausted with no chakra left. You know, kid, that was a good try, but you lost. Darn, looks like I'm not going to become a great shinobi after all, Naruto would say, lifting his hand to the moon, letting its light shine through his fingers. Or maybe I will. I'm going to try again tomorrow, and that time I'll catch you. The fox would smile and say, sure, we got as much time as we need. Naruto would fall asleep under the tree. The fox would not. The fox would go into the forest and get some two oddly shaped leaves. They look almost like bowls of sorts. It would slowly gather water with a smaller leaf and just continuously put it into the bigger one to have like a bowl of water, and also gathers a lot of berries. It would then also go to sleep. When Naruto wakes up, the fox is nowhere to be seen, and he sees the food. He'd smile and start munching down on the food, and loud would say, wonder where the fox went. I need to catch it this time. The fox would come down and say, I'm right here, but eat first. After that, we could start our exercise again. Believe it, this time I'm gonna catch you. Naruto and the fox would start again. After Naruto's lunch is done, he would use the mini bursts of speed to try and catch the fox, as the fox is jumping from tree to tree at blinding speeds. Naruto would realize the more energy he put into the blast, the faster he would launch. This is when he had an idea. The sensei from yesterday explained how the tree walking worked. Maybe if he bounces off the trees himself, it might work. After about a few hours, he gets the use of clamping to the trees, but not for long after shooting off of them. This would go on for the next few weeks until Naruto had gotten two distinct new techniques. He'd be able to stick to a tree indefinitely, and he'd be able to channel chakra through his legs to give him an enormous burst of speed. This was the first time he'd catch the fox, on a verge of exhaustion. He'd put as much chakra into his legs as possible, bursting off, catching the fox as he passes out. He falls on the ground holding the fox in a tight grip, until he woke up. The next day, the fox would explain that Naruto had an ingenious plan by pumping his legs full of energy and then dispersing it through his soles, which gave him an immense amount of speed. This time much more than he did before because of the amount of chakra he built up. Naruto would see this as intriguing and ask the fox if they'd finally start their training. And the fox would say, well, my boy, we've been training all along. Haven't you just mastered 2 new techniques? Well, it looks like that, Naruto would say, rubbing the back of his head. So, what's next? Fox Sensei? Don't call me that. My name is... I don't really know. I don't know how to put the fox's name into your translation. Maybe just call me QU for now. Bet! Naruto would yell. And say, so what are we doing next? QU Sensei? And the fox would smirk. Just QU is fine. Okay, what's next, QU? They would start their training on the next basic exercise that the fox saw other humans for the last few years doing, which would be the water walking. This is something that improves their chakra as a whole. Foxes don't have this problem, for they're born with excellent chakra control and massive chakra reserves. For even though they're summonings, they are partially chakra beast, partially biologic. So, yet they can't fully die. It does hurt them every time they do. They can feel pain, and they can regenerate. So, it's basically pros and cons at this moment in time. They'd move on to see Naruto gain exponential growth, and even in 1 day's time, this time with the fox's help, master water walking. The fox would explain it as best as it can to Naruto how to do it. The fox's foot, also being smaller and differently shaped from Naruto's, would make the paws have to attach much differently. So, after that, they would pretty much have the water walking exercise done. About 2 weeks have passed since they started their training, and even on water walking, Naruto mastered it by sparring with the fox, who could actually kick pretty hard in Naruto's opinion. The fox started learning just as much as Naruto did. Even though this fox seemed to be very skilled, it didn't know about the burst trick. It just used chakra to naturally make its body faster. With Naruto's technique, it learned how to fight with chakra. So, when it's about to kick Naruto after jumping, it would make a massive burst of chakra come out of its feet, knocking Naruto over, making him lose concentration. This also helped Naruto gain the knowledge of how to, no matter what happens, still stick to the water, which would also indirectly make him stick to trees. So it's a progression of chakra at this moment in time. Also, Naruto would see exponential growth in the taijutsu department, since instead of learning taijutsu without ever having a proper fight, every fight is him seeing an opponent that's also learning, discovering new techniques, and him also creating new techniques. He basically learned every time the fox disperses a piece of chakra, he would use the nearest dispersal point within his arms or legs, being chakra points, to disperse chakra out of them and basically create a makeshift chakra shield. Not necessarily a shield on its own, but the burst of chakra would counter a physical burst or an actual burst of chakra, which could be useful in the future. Naruto is learning a lot just by having a friend and having something to experiment with, which is the fox, of course. The fox would say that maybe Naruto has grown a lot. She should introduce him to her people. Naruto would ask, okay, introduce me to your people. And yes, the fox is a female. Sorry if my voice didn't make it sound like it. So, the fox would take Naruto deeper into the forest. Deep into the forest, there's a gigantic hole in the ground, surrounded by trees that almost block it off. The only way to really get in is to basically cut through an illusion that's one of the trees that block it off and walk inside. No shinobi of the leaf so far had come into this forest, for it was almost against the wall, and getting this close to the wall could have you prosecuted for traitorism or trying to escape without leaf. So, after being taken there, Naruto would meet some more foxes. Most of the foxes would be skeptical and wouldn't really say anything because Naruto does emanate fox-like chakra, so they assume he has something to do with the Kyuubi, but we'll just leave it for now, since the Kyuubi was kind of evil at times. Wasn't necessarily a being created from evil, but did some questionable acts in the past. So, after the fox leads Naruto to their chieftain fox, or the head fox, a conversation would start, initiating a new relationship between Naruto and the fox kind. So that's going to be it for this part, guys. I really hope you enjoyed. If you want to see part 2, make sure to smash like and subscribe, comment down below, and also check out my Twitch where I do stream some. We're currently on 19 followers. We're trying to get all the way up to 100, so go make sure you help us with that. Without further ado, bye-bye.
That is going to be all for this video. ASCAP Mysta-Clan Productions, including 6 Mysta and his editors, thank you for finishing the video. Now for official shoutouts and Patreon members at the end.
Mysta-Clan Productions.
Join my Discord, Twitter, Instagram, and TikTok. Also, thanks to the following people for becoming Patreons: Kahakashi Obachiha. And remember to check out the link in the description because the Dragon Lord created both our intro and outro. Now roll that outro. Peace.
1, 2, 3, let's go!
Subscribe for more.
Yada yada does it.